Hi everyone, welcome to Numeric Learning. In today's video, let us solve Exemplar Chapter 1 Real Numbers Exercise 1.2. The first question is, the numbers 525 and 3000 are both divisible only by 3, 5, 15, 25 and 75. What is the HCF of 525 and 3000? Justify your answer. So, you are given that both the numbers 525 and 3000, they can be divided by all of these numbers. That means they are divisible by 3, 5, 15, 25 and 75. What do you mean by HCF? HCF is nothing but the largest number that can divide both these numbers. So out of all these numbers that are given to you, 75 is the largest number that can divide both 525 and 3000. So therefore HCF of the given two numbers is 75. Okay, so let's write that very clearly. So the way you, because you have to justify your answer. So HCF, or the highest common factor, is the biggest number, that can divide both 525 and 3000. So out of all the numbers that are given to you, the highest number that can divide the two are both the numbers is going to be 75. So therefore the HCF of 525 and 3000 will be 75. Okay, so you don't have to do any prime factorization of each of these numbers and then calculate 75 because you're already given. Okay, so based on the given information, we have to just know what is the actual meaning of HCF. So the largest number that can divide the two given numbers. So that was your question number 1. Let's move on to question 2. The second question is, explain why 3 multiplied by 5 multiplied by 7 plus 7 is a composite number. So before answering this question, we should know what do you mean by composite numbers. So composite numbers are those numbers that have more than 2 factors. So let me write it here. Composite numbers have more than 2 factors. And all those numbers which have exactly 2 factors, they are called prime numbers, right? Composite numbers are those which have greater than 2 factors. So now if you take here, the given expression is 3 multiplied by 5 multiplied by 7 plus 7. Okay, so out of these two terms, okay, take 7 common out. So you'll have, the first term is 3 into 5 plus 1, which is nothing but 7 multiplied by 3 into 5 is 15 plus 1, which is nothing but 7 multiplied by 16, right? What is 7 multiplied by 16? 7 6 are 42, 2 4, 1 1 2. So this is a product, right? So if you, as you can see from here, right, the product, that is 1 1 2, is a factor of the given expression, right? 1 is a default factor. 1 is a factor by default, right? Because 1 is divisible by all numbers. 1 can divide all the other numbers. And then here you can see 2 more factors, which is 7 is a factor and 16 is a factor, right? So by default, for the given expression, you can see 1 is a factor, 7, 16, and the product, which is 1 1 2, is a, so you have more than 2 factors here. Okay, so here by default we are able to write down 4 factors. Okay, therefore it is a composite number. Okay, so this is how you'll have to express it. And a similar question is there in the NCERT as well, exercise 1.1. And I have done that in one other in my NCERT solutions playlist. Please do check it out. So this is a kind of a question which is repeated in most of the must do questions, and it has come in the previous year's board papers also. So let's move on to the next question. Can two numbers have 18 as their HCF and 380 as their LCM? Okay, so what is given here? Can two numbers have HCF as 18 and the LCM as 380? Now, we should know one important thing, that in order for any two numbers to have 18 as an HCF and 380 as an LCM, we should know that the HCF is always a factor of LCM. Right? What does it mean? It means that what does it mean? HCF can completely divide the LCM. HCF, it means that HCF can completely divide the LCM. Okay, so let's see if it is completely, if 18 can divide 380 entirely. So if we see 380 divided by 18, first let's reduce it, simplify it, divide it by 2. So what do you get? 2 9s are 18, 2 1s are 2, 2 9s are 18, again 190 by 9. 190 is not entirely divisible by 9, or 9 cannot divide 180 completely. Therefore, it is not possible. You can say that 18 is not a factor of 380. Okay. Therefore, you cannot have any two numbers. There cannot be two numbers that can have 18 as the HCF and 380 as the LCM. Is that clear? So in order for any two numbers to have any two numbers as, it's LCM, if that has to be satisfied. So if you are given that there are two numbers, say X and Y, okay, and A is the HCF, B is the LCM. So for A and B to be HCF and LCM for any two numbers X and Y, A should be able to divide B completely. Okay, so A should be a factor of B. HCF should be a factor of LCM. So that is how you verify if A and B can be HCF and LCM of any two given numbers X and Y. If HCF is not a factor, if HCF cannot divide, unlike in our case, that means there cannot exist two numbers that can have the given two values as HCF and LCM. So this is another very a critical thinking kind of a question. So you should know two important things, that HCF is always a factor of LCM. This alone is sufficient, or you can write HCF should be able to completely divide LCM perfectly. So these are, the meaning of both these statements are exactly the same. You can just learn and understand any one of them. Okay, so that's all for your exercise 1.2. Chapter number 1, real numbers. Hope you understood. Let's meet you all in the next video with exercise 1.3. Till then, practice every day. Daily 20 minutes of consistent practice will definitely help you gain more confidence over the subject, howsoever tough the subject or the question paper may be. So hope you liked it. Please do share, please do comment, and do subscribe. Thank you.